Welcome, Hornets, and thank you for joining me today. Today we're going to be taking a look at arithmetic sequences. This is a follow-up for the introduction to sequences, which I have already done. If you have not watched that, you should do so that you know the difference between the basic linear relationship and the quadratic. Now, when we're talking about an arithmetic sequence, as we saw before, a sequence is generated by taking a value of n, which are the set of natural numbers, and plugging it into a rule. This will generate a first term, a sub 1, then a second term, a sub 2, a third term, a sub 3, a fourth term, a sub 5, a sub 4, so fourth term, and then a fifth term. Now, we know that in order for it to be a linear relationship, which is what we call arithmetic, we have to see a constant difference. And that difference is going to happen in the first tier, following with, based upon what we saw earlier. So if I'm looking at this, I want to take a sub 5 and subtract a sub 4 in order to figure out the common difference. And you'll notice 2 minus 4 is negative 2. We repeat the process. 4 minus 6 gives me negative 2. 6 minus 8 gives me negative 2. And 8 minus 10 gives me negative 2. This is now a consistent common difference, and that is what is required to be arithmetic. If you did not have a consistent difference amongst all of the values in the sequence, it is not an arithmetic, and we can't use the method that I'm about to show you. So we're going to use our formula. A sub n equals our common difference times n plus c. Since we know all of these values, we can choose any single one of them. We just have to remember to plug in n, our common difference, and the value that we're working with. So if I'm working with a sub 5, 2 has to equal negative 2 times 5 plus c. And you'll notice that when I add this, I end up getting 12 equals c. If I decided to work with a sub 2, I would have 8 is negative 2 times 2 plus c, and when I add 4, I get the same c value. So you notice it really doesn't matter which one you're going to use. Now once we have that, we now know that our a sub n is the common difference times n, whoops, let's put an n there please, and we add c. This is now what we call the arithmetic rule, okay? The arithmetic rule. Now, there are times when we are going to be given information and are being asked to figure out what is the rule and what is intermediate values in between what is given. So for example, if I were to say you have a sub 6 is negative 38 and you have a sub 11 is negative 73, stop and think about what's actually happening. We have a sub negative 38, there's a sub 7, a sub 8, a sub 9, a sub 10 to negative 73. And you'll notice I am adding a common difference 5 times. So I know that negative 73 has to be negative 38 plus my common difference times 5. I am now going to find my common difference so that I can then do that common difference in between each value and thus find the intermediate. If I have my common difference, I can then figure out my rule using the same method that I did up here. So let's go ahead and first figure out what is that common difference. And we are going to add 38 to both sides. I'm going to end up having, let's just take our difference, 5, negative 35. So let's just double check. If I take negative 35 and I subtract 38, Do I get 73? Yes, I do. And because this is now equal to 5d, I can divide both sides by 5 and see that negative 7 is the common difference. Since I now have a sub 6 is negative 38, and it has to be the common difference times 6, our n value, plus c, I can now find my constant. I now take that positive 42 and add to both sides, and I have a positive 4 equaling c. I now know my rule, a sub n, for this arithmetic sequence is negative 7 times n plus 4. If I wish, I could take that negative 7 and I could subtract negative 7 from negative 38 to get negative 45, negative 52, negative 59, negative 66, and then I end up with negative 73 at the end. This now can generate all of the values in the sequence in between and find my general rule. Okay, so please be aware of that. Also, just a reminder, it is often the case that we will use the formula a sub n equals a sub n minus 1 plus n minus 1 times d. This is what's ultimately being used if I were to say a sub 6 had to be made from a sub 5 plus 5 times the common difference. This allows me to create systems of equations and work in a similar fashion. So just be aware there is a second formula that we can use, and as you go through, you will see it in use occasionally. Alrighty, this is on arithmetic sequences. I hope that has helped. If not, please let me know how I can improve. Otherwise, if you like this video, please remember to click like. Otherwise, give me critical or constructive criticism that I can improve it with. Thank you very much, Hornets. Please take care. Cheers.